Greetings, all you maniacs from my Sonic Rhymes. Welcome back to another Warframe's Ins and Outs. Today, finally, we're going to be talking about Ember. Ember, I never got a chance to use her before her rework. That feels like forever ago. But reworked Ember, holy fuck, she is a lot of fun. Now, let's first go into her passive, and I'm going to show my build and explain the madness that I have come up with. This is normal Ember. I just have this very nice Tenogen skin because it looks very, very nice. So her passive. 5% ability strength for every enemy within 50 meters engulfed in flame. Now, it can come from Ember herself. It can come from her weapons, teammates' weapons, enemies. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as they're on fire, Ember gets stronger. She doesn't care, which is really, really awesome. Anyway, let me go over the build first. So this build might look like madness to some people. What the fuck even is this? Well, this is a build that doesn't fucking give a shit. This is a build that destroys everything. So, you notice I have no power strength here. Why? Because you already get power strength with her passive. So, I see no point of putting power strength on her. She doesn't even really want a fuck ton of power strength. With her 2, which we'll go over in a minute, you really only need like 25% power strength for it to work. Anyway, I have the augment here, Exothermic. This mod is awesome. And I will go over more of it once we talk about her 4th ability. So I have Arcane Grace here, then Arcane Pistolier. Arcane Pistolier is just for memes. Arcane Grace really helps. You could say, oh, where's your rank 5 Arcane Energize that, you know, every single player has now? I don't give a shit about Arcane Energize. I said it. I don't fucking care about it. Anyway. Her first ability is a simple fireball. Now, it has synergies with her 2, and that's kind of it. I don't really use it, but if you keep hucking fireballs, they get stronger, that combo counter there. And if you hold it, it will get even stronger. So, there's that. And then her 2, that was her 3. Her 2 is this. So, what's happening here right now, I have 41% damage reduction, and it slowly goes up with that meter. Now, at full meter with only 100% power strength, it's not actually 90% damage reduction. So, yeah, you can see you spam your 1 there, and your 4, and your meter will go up faster. So, it's at 85% damage reduction right now. But, if I set some enemies on fire, there's my passive. So if I get about that many, and then I just let the meter go up and up and up. If I just let it go up and up and up and up, it will reach 90%. Now her 3, I will briefly cover because it's very, very, very simple. Her 3 is used to stop the energy drain from her 2. So right now I have 90% damage reduction, awesome, but it will start to drain the energy at an accelerated rate. So, as I was saying before I was interrupted, so yeah, with the meter at full, you will slowly start losing your energy, but the simple solution to that is use her 3. Now, her 3 will not only knock enemies down and light them on fire, but with a maxed out meter, it does not matter how much power strength you have. If it's maxed out, as far as I know, it will completely remove enemy armor. So let me actually show you this. So, these guys are level 135 Corrupted Heavy Gunners. They have a lot of armor. No, they don't. It's all gone. Every bit of armor, and it stays forever. And you can see there all the enemies are set on fire. And it knocks them down. This is absolutely fantastic, and it works wonderfully into her 4, which I will show right now. So, what happens when enemies don't have any armor? They don't have any fire resistance. So her 4 is basically meteors from the sky. It does accelerated damage. It does ticks of damage. You can press it as many times as you like. And also you can use her 3 to knock enemies down. And you see with exothermic all these energy orbs that are being spawned. And of course, enemies without any armor are not a threat. But it only works for armor. It does not remove corpus shields. I wish it removed shields, but it doesn't. So, duration is 14 seconds with this build. That is plenty of time, and the fire will spread. I haven't really noticed it too much. You might need a lot more range than I have for it to really affect. But it essentially means that Ember can work kind of like Saren if you use her properly. The fire will keep spreading and spreading. And it says energy drain per target. I've never noticed. I've never noticed any sort of drain per target. I assume that means over time and not just using the ability. Also, if there's no targets, it will cost no energy to use. And this is a great way to get your damage reduction up really quickly. So you see how fast it's going on there. Anyway, this is the build. I've taken this build on decently long survival runs. The only issue I see with Ember is the fact that, yes, her 3 reduces the rate at which the meter builds so you can keep your damage reduction. But after a while, it comes to the point where you have to kind of turn off your damage reduction and turn it back on. I know a lot of people are like, wait a minute, you don't actually have to do that. I kind of find you sort of have to, unless you're doing something very specific, like using Hunter Adrenaline and a Rakta weapon that will refill your energy. And also using Arcane Energize. It feels a little much. Now you also could be thinking, wait a minute, exothermic, why the fuck are you not using energy conversion? Instant synergy. Yes, but also no. Where can I put it? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere on this build. I cannot put energy conversion. There is no place on this build where I could put it. Because I need prime flow. I need the efficiency. Exothermic is a must. Umbral Vitality, yeah, like you want to get rid of your HP, okay. Prime Continuity, definitely very important because, again, you need more duration. Because if you take that off, then there's, like, no duration. Adaptation, you could say you don't need, but at the same time, it's adaptation. It helps, like, a lot. So let me spawn in some normal level enemies. Oh, these poor bastards. And not even use invincibility. I'm not going to do a mission, although I could, but I really don't want to, because this is basically how Ember is. Like, a lot of frames is like, oh, they don't work as well as they do in real world missions other than Simulacrum or vice versa, but with Ember, it's exactly the same. It really doesn't matter, because you're removing armor, you're knocking the enemies on their asses, you're lighting them on fire. They really don't get a choice of being able to do anything. So to start things off, there's my passive. Light them all on fire. Very nice. Move around because you don't have the full damage reduction yet. And yeah, you can just use your 3 to knock them down. That's a good loop you can do with heavy units like Noxes. You can just hit them with your 4. They'll be fire panic. You just headshot them. Okay. No more armor for all of you. Arcane Grayson proc, but it will proc. So there is that. Now let's actually spawn them back in and start things off like that. By the way, her 4 is line of sight based. It's kind of a cone. You see that guy who's just like chilling watching Netflix. What do you think Nox watches on Netflix? You what? Did someone just shoot at me? And one more time. So yeah, this is basically Ember. She's really mean. She is really, really fucked up. She doesn't give a fuck, like, at all. And of course, you can use melee weapons. She plus Condition Overload. Well, I mean, why would you use anything else other than Condition Overload on a melee weapon? Yeah. Yeah, Noxes are tough as fuck. But yeah, removing armor, knocking enemies on the ground, setting everyone on fire, crowd controlling out the ass. Not to mention, she also has her one augment, which will give a lot of your teammates a lot of power strength if you build her for that. She spawns energy orbs a fuck ton. Like, Ember is just insane. She is super fucking good. Ember plus Explosive Ledgerman Mirage, yikes. You can imagine why. Ember makes a bunch of energy orbs turn into electricity mines, and everything goes zap. So there's that. If you have Nezha plus Ember on your team, you're never going to run out of energy. It's not happening. It isn't happening. You could also say, wait a minute, all these energy orbs, you don't need Zeneric at that point. You can do that if you want. But me personally, I'd rather just have Zeneric there because there is some parts where I plain like disruption and all my energy goes away because we failed the conduit, and that's a problem. Not that Zeneric really helps with that, but I mean, it gives enough. So there's that. Anyway, that's Ember. Ember is God. She's awesome. I always say this, I'm not the biggest fan of frames that only really rely on one button. Ember doesn't. Ember, it feels like, oh, she's a very spammy frame. You don't really need to spam as much as you think. Also, exothermic, when the enemies, it spawns energy orbs when they are under the effect of her 4, not being killed by her 4, which is a godsend because her 4 won't always kill enemies. A lot of the trash units, oh yeah, they're done for. But a lot of the heavier units, especially if they have armor still on, are not really going to die that fast. As you saw with the Nox. The Nox had no armor and he couldn't care less that he was on fire until I shot him in the face with my core attack. But that Ember is just fantastic. She is such a good frame. By the way, her 4 sometimes will attack enemies that are through walls, sometimes it won't. Sometimes her 3 won't affect enemies through walls, and in some cases I've actually seen it affect enemies through walls. I don't know what's going on. It's a little weird. Maybe it really isn't supposed to be affecting enemies through walls, but in all honesty, it really doesn't fucking matter. And you can also imagine that Ember versus the Infested is a joke. The Infested can't do anything to Ember because fire is universal against them. Any unit that is infested, without, if you're in doubt what element to use, fire. So there is that. Or gas or corrosive with some of them. Anyway, Ember is very, very fantastic. And one more thing I should mention. If, for some reason, you have a Volt on your team and you do that through his shield, the orbs will turn radioactive. They will do radiation damage. Why? I get it. Volt shield adds electricity, but that's a little weird. But Nezha's chakram doesn't turn radioactive. Odd. But okay. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Drillby, we trust.